Hey everyone, welcome to our webinar today. We are thrilled to have you with us. We'll be starting in just a couple of minutes to allow everyone to log in and get settled. While we wait, here's a quick note. Your microphones and cameras are off for this session, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to use the Q&A feature, and we'll address them during the Q&A session at the end. Thanks again for joining us. We will get started shortly. Okay, hello again. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Manish Lemay, and I will be your host for today's session. We're excited to dive into the fascinating world of agentic AI and share how it can help businesses like yours achieve greater efficiency and innovation. Before we get started, let me quickly walk you through our agenda. We'll begin with a brief overview of Aleda, followed by our perspective on AI and its transformational potential. Then we'll introduce you to Agentic AI and showcase its capabilities through a live demo and real-world scenarios. We'll wrap up with closing remarks and leave time for your questions during a Q&A session. Now let me introduce you to the incredible team that will be leading today's discussion. First off, Stephen Duffy. Stephen is a vice president based in Houston. He's responsible for industries and our strategy and UI UX services here at Aleda. With over 30 years of experience, Stephen brings deep expertise in developing business strategies, transforming operating models, delivering tech-enabled innovation, and AI. He's particularly skilled at optimizing business performance and driving both organic and inorganic growth, with a special focus on AI-enabled solutions. Next up, David Romeo. David is a vice president here at Aleda in charge of innovation. He brings over 15 years of experience delivering transformative solutions across healthcare, retail, financial services, and logistics. David leads our research and development efforts, creates new services, and drives our strategic innovation initiatives. David's passion for emerging tech and AI-driven innovation helps us identify and implement solutions that create real business value for our clients. Dave Jimenez is joining us as well. Dave is our vice president and head of growth. With over 27 years of experience in transformational consulting, Dave has extensive experience leading large distributed sales and marketing teams. And finally, I'm Manish Lemay, Senior Vice President of Marketing at Aleda. I have almost 30 years of experience in management consulting and business operations. I'm a fierce advocate of design thinking and enjoy working with clients to take a user-centered approach to business strategy, product development, and brand. We're excited to share our insights and demonstrate how agentic AI can help solve real-world challenges. Real quick, for those of you that jumped on a few minutes ago, microphones are muted, cameras will be turned off. Definitely submit questions through the Q&A bubble at the top. And with that, I will hand it over to Stephen Duffy to get us started. Stephen?
Thank you, Manish. I appreciate it. And welcome to everybody. I want to start out first with just a quick touch on who Aleda is. Aleda is focused on driving digital excellence with our clients, which really means about connecting the dots between technology, data, strategy, and experience for all initiatives that involve investments in digital assets. You can go to the next page. So we come off of a year that was quite monumental in the world of AI. We did a lot of things going on around generative AI, but as we look to 2025 unfolding before us, we believe this is going to be another pivotal year for AI. In fact, probably even more so than last year. Well, why are we thinking that? What are the components of that? Well, first and foremost, if I point you to the left-hand column, we're really working our way towards a new world, a new AI reality. There's a number of things going on that lead us to say that. The first thing is we've seen some tremendously rapid evolution in the world of agentic AI, hence this particular webinar today. And also that large language models have started to develop the capability around reasoning. So we've gone from the world of just pure task execution to the world of very complex AI-aided execution of initiatives, and also gone into the world of helping them make decisions. So this is really going to change the landscape of AI this year. Second is that, because of all the investment that many companies made last year around generative AI, and because of this rapidly emerging capability around agentic and reasoning, we truly believe as we go through this year and we look around, we're going to see the world of AI entering a world of ubiquitous deployment. We're going to look to different parts of the enterprise, from the back office to the front office, and we're going to see various forms of AI being deployed in a large number, fairly substantial number of organizations. So we're going to get into the world of ubiquity from the world of testing and experimenting. And the third is that, off the backs of a lot of our investments and experimentation in 2024 around generative AI, I think a lot of folks have learned, and there's a lot of articles and discussion out there, that taking steps forward with AI and getting the results that you desire is more than a technological journey. And so importance of things like strategic alignment with imperatives, or strategic alignment across business units, driving experience into your design of your AI solutions such that you can actually get adoption and get the benefits out the end of the pipe. Concerning yourself with things like standards or an economic platform so that your cost structure doesn't go out of proportion as the adoption goes the way you want it to. And making sure that there's clarity around who is responsible for what in terms of having particular roles as it relates to the journey around AI. These and many other related things in that first column suggest to us that 2025 is really a new world order for AI, and it's very exciting for us. If we go to the middle column, tangible impact, I think the other things that make it a monumental year are that we're starting to see evidence, it's very significant evidence, that the merger of AI and humans is actually very powerful. And while there are areas, and there will be many areas where AI replaces some human talent, right, and automates various tasks and areas of execution, there's really a lot of potential in the intersection between humans and AI. And I, for one, in the work that I do every day and the teams that I work with every day, see this in spades. We're able to get an advanced progression from point A to point C in any activity, any undertaking that we've identified, by moving to point B, moving somewhere along the middle of that progression very rapidly with the use of AI. So, while we may not always get completely to the destination with AI by itself, we make significant advancements along the journey, and that is very powerful, and it's been powerful for the people that I work with. We also seen multimodal solutions emerge. So now, rather than just dealing with text or just dealing with voice or video or graphics, we also have the opportunity to deliver solutions that are multimodal, that go across all of those things at the same time. And then the last area here is real world proof, right? So we see examples emerging where people have actually been through their proof points, they've been through proof of concepts, they've been through deployments, and we're starting to see evidence in industries like healthcare or functions like supply chain, where people can actually quote very significant gains in efficiency from the deployment of AI. And I think the more that we can speak to actual real world solutions, real world examples, and see that things have actually made a difference, the more we'll see a movement towards more and more deployment of AI. It's more than just telling a story of the art of the possible. It's saying, hey, I've seen this work. I know someone who's seen its work, and it delivers. On the right-hand side, there's speed bumps. So sure, there's a lot of things that are very exciting about 2025, but there's also some things that we're all going to have to embrace in our plans and our activities around AI for the year. So making sure to work on scaling from small isolated pilots to organizational wide ecosystems of deployment is challenging. And so there's a lot of dimensions, just like any significant initiative, to wrap around change management and other aspects to make sure you can actually truly scale isolated pilots into something more significant. Another potential speed bump is working towards adoption. We all know that it makes no sense to invest in a digital asset and build something out that actually is not going to get adopted, right? So when we think about adoption, we have to think about things like embracing the right functional domains, the right functional requirements in our solution. But we also have to embrace things like experience and make sure there's stickiness to the solution. And we also need to make sure we're understanding how to integrate it with other aspects of operations. And then lastly, on the right-hand column, there's a lot of discussion, and rightly so, around things like security, trust, compliance, ethics, transparency that emerged, of course, last year as we talked about generative AI, but they're just exponentially growing in their importance. And the maturation of our policies and our approach to managing these things has to significantly step up as we embrace the full potential of multidimensional AI in 2025. If we can go to the next page, please. So a lot to be excited about, but there's also, as I've mentioned, some things to put our arms around to make sure we can actually extract the value from our investments. So if you imagine this colorful stack of boxes here on the left as a stack of Jenga blocks, and you have to progress from the bottom to the top in order to capture your value, just like in the game of Jenga, if you misplace something or you don't place it in right, the top block is going to falter, it's going to fall. Well, so is the case with AI. So we need to make sure that as we endeavor on our journeys around AI initiatives, that they are firmly grounded in a sound strategy. We have clear objectives, we're solidly supported by business case and funding to embark on that journey, and then put in place the right components around technology that are going to sustain us through the test of time and build the reference architecture for all other aspects that are going to be built onto that technology as we go forward. And secure the right data into our solutions. So we have quality data to rely upon. It's going to be real-time managed and updated through an automated pipeline. And then we're going to put controls like guardrails. When you go bowling, the guardrails come up, keep you on track. Well, in our AI initiatives, we have to make sure we stay on track. So there's a number of controls that need to be deployed. And then we've spoken a lot about experience, but again, that's very critical to get the adoption. And then on the adoption layer, there's a lot of things we need to do to prepare for the adoption of a new solution and make sure we have literacy and understanding and upskilling in our workforce so the tool is actually utilized in day-to-day operations and you can actually extract the intended value. The last thing we want is to deploy a solution and see something like a 10% adoption rate in a particular workforce because we're leaving so much money and opportunity on the table if that's what happens. And so ultimately, you make your way to the top of the stack and very stably can secure the last block of actually capturing the value that you set out to attain. Next page, please. So we've mentioned Agentic AI as part of that new reality around AI. And we think amongst all the many things that I've just mentioned, Agentic AI should be one of the priorities on any enterprise's 2025 strategic agenda around AI. But what is it really? You've seen a lot about it in the news. You may be playing with it. You may hear people talk about it. And it's frankly the buzzword of 2025 around AI, whereas last year generative AI was the big buzzword. But what is it? So I'll take it line by line. This is a definition we've compiled that works for us in articulating what we mean when we talk about it. So agentic AI refers to autonomous AI systems. So we're moving to a world where the AI componentry comes together to actually independently execute on a set of complex tasks. So on the second line, when we say it can pursue complex objectives, we've moved from a world of singular task orientation to a world of multidimensional complex objectives where the AI solution can actually execute on multiple dimensions simultaneously. It can actually, as on the third line, plan out an approach, execute a variety of workflows, and accomplish that complex task, much the way a person on your team might. So no longer do we have to have a repeatable algorithm, which is on the fifth line, where it's predefined, predestined, the if-then-else type pathway that an AI solution needs to go through. And instead, we're able to make decisions with the AI solution with a little bit of human oversight. Now, we have highlighted autonomous and human oversight here because it's very important to us that those two things coexist. I know that there's a lot of talk about replacing functions or people with AI, but we, again, firmly believe that the two go hand in hand if you're going to extract the most value out of agentic AI. And if you're wondering if it's really going to hit, there is a whole variety of third parties already writing significant articles and putting out positions and postulations about the future with agentic AI, Gartner being one of them, saying that by 2028, about a third of enterprise software will include agentic AI. And there's many more quotes like that that I could have put on this page. The next page, please. So last thing before I turn it over to David is that if you're trying to sort of get your arms around this and think about, okay, well, you've given me a definition for agentic AI. You've told me it's going to be big, but what is it really? Like, help me envision what it could be. Well, I mentioned this earlier, but imagine that you have a highly capable, collaborative, and high-performing team member join your team. You could be in any function. You could be in sales. You could be in finance. You could be in strategy, IT. It doesn't matter. If you had that new high-performing member join your team, imagine what you might give them. Imagine a task that you might give them. More than likely, you wouldn't tell them a set of sequential steps and a set of if-then-else kind of instructions to accomplish something, but rather you'd probably sit them down and give them some objectives, and you would give them some guardrails in the sense of some context, and you would give them some constraints to work with and tell them what you want to achieve. Well, in the same sense, agentic AI can do that for you. So we evolve from the discrete repetitive task to managing those complex nonlinear processes. And then at the end of the day, through agentic AI, through having this new capability, this new AI team member, we can actually drive decisioning and action faster with a little bit of supervisor guidance and quality assurance. And we can ultimately change the efficiency and cost curves of our business and our operations and accelerate our path towards outcomes, which is also critical to capturing value faster. Next page, please. So taking it to the next level of where does this apply in the business and what are some examples? If I look across the business, in strategy planning and scenario analysis, I can set up an agent to sort of monitor the activity in the market, monitor a number of metrics, pull together a whole variety of different types of information to help me get agile in the way my strategic planning process works. So rather than a static once a year strategic planning process, I can actually have an agent always operating in the background, helping me to evaluate various scenarios, updating the information, and letting me know when perhaps I might need to take action to adjust my strategy. If I go into product development concepts and prototypes, I can similarly set up an agent that is canvassing the market, looking for market activity or addressable market or customers' insights where potentially there's a new idea or concept that could apply. And I could use the agent to feed me some concepts periodically as it continually canvasses the market. I can even ask it to prototype some things digitally for me from those concepts. In the top right, field service. You can imagine a world where you have an agent out there that is accessible by a field service technician, and they're out on a job, and instead of encountering a situation where they're less familiar and having to call in for assistance or look something up, you could actually have them access an agent to go and canvas all the variety of technical documentation, product documentation, use cases, and a variety of other sources, and actually come back and recommend a series of potential solutions to the problem they're encountering right then and there on the spot in a fraction of the time it would take to use additional or different method. The bottom left, supply chain management. The complexity of our networks today around supply chain is significant. You can have an agent always running in the background and providing you some insights into where the supply chain needs to be tweaked, where you need to change your inventory positions, where you need to potentially change the dynamics and the operation of your distribution network. In information technology, you can use it to provide agentic first level or second level customer support for all of your users. It can handle a whole variety of tasks. It can also monitor for you things like network traffic or cybersecurity threats. And then in the bottom right, finance analysis and reporting, there is so much data that goes into managing a business from a financial standpoint. And if you're like me, or like most people I know, there's oftentimes a periodic process to sort of massage the data and try to generate some insights that help you decide what to do about everything. But if you had an agent always running in the background, bringing the intelligence of a financial analyst to the table, and always running a series of research and analysis and bringing to you things that potentially deserve attention because they're outside a threshold, or because they represent opportunities, or because they're trending the wrong direction, or even the right direction, that proactive insight generation and supply of that insight is critical to a finance management function. Now, in addition to these six, there's also obviously things that we could do with agentic around marketing, sales, and customer service. And we're going to delve into that in some detail with our demo. Next page, please.
So I'll pick up here, and I know we're all excited to get to the demo. So I quickly just want to highlight a few things that have gotten us to this stage of being able to build agentic workflows and really leverage agentic AI for our enterprise use cases. It wasn't too long ago, prior to really 2023, that we were using AI, more what I would call traditional AI, tool-based, rules that were fixed, single task focused. Think old school chatbots or recommendation engines, something that needs kind of constant human guidance in order to really take advantage and leverage for your workflows. Great example might be like AI playlists and through Spotify, curated lists that really don't make a broader strategic decision for you. After kind of end of 2022 and 2023, with the launch of ChatGPT, we start to see an explosion of generative AI use cases. This is where AI is helping create content, responding to prompts, but overall is still very much largely output-based and reliant on user direction. So, for example, ChatGPT can produce text, but doesn't really self-initiate any next steps beyond responding to your inquiries or anything that you would put into the chat window. Agentic AI, however, is quite different because in this case, it's planning and executing tasks, taking initiative, and really handling multi-step solutions with minimal oversight. We saw some of this from a timing standpoint. It's great. OpenAI announced the operator agent last week. But another example might be AI that not only could suggest some information or look up information, but go ahead and execute on that as well. So we'll see some of that in the demo around marketing plans and being able to compile additional research for us. What has made this possible, though, is some of the latest advancements in AI reasoning models. You might have heard about these with either OpenAI's O1 or O3 models. I'm sure we've all kind of read the news the past couple of days and seen DeepSeek R1 on there. That also is a reasoning model that can help advance some agentic capabilities. At the end of the day, it's all about improving those planning capabilities because the agents, the AI agents, need a solid plan to be able to execute off of. And those reasoning steps really help enable that. So we're witnessing AI with more contextual understanding that is enabling it to handle real-world complexity. And in fact, in a very, very short time, pretty much as about a year and a half ago, we've seen an explosion in both commercial and open source platforms. This really underscores that organizations are needing to carefully evaluate the different types of options available to them to pick the right tools that are going to help best achieve their objectives. A lot of your major vendors like Amazon, Salesforce, Microsoft, and Google and Oracle are incorporating those agentic capabilities into their cloud and SaaS offerings. And that can be great for organizations that are already in those ecosystems. Open source also has been paving a large way for agentic AI because it offers flexibility and some community-driven innovation, even though that may require some deeper in-house expertise. With the pace and change that is happening with AI, the open source tooling sometimes can feel a little bit ahead of some of the enterprise platform capabilities. So let's see what some of this agentic AI might look like. And in order to do that, I wanted to paint a demo scenario for you. We're going to walk through a concrete example that really helps illustrate how agentic AI can be applied to a real world scenario. In this case, we're going to be launching a product. The product in this case is an AI-powered water bottle. The idea is that we could use AI to help track our water consumption, help suggest when it's time to hydrate. Think of this as kind of a better internet-connected toaster for those that were familiar with some of that in the past. But if we're going to go launch this, one of the things that we need to do is we need to have a solid marketing and sales plan. We need to be able to do that, or we need to have that plan because one of the goals that we're going to have out of the gate is really boost our brand awareness. We want to identify some strategic partnerships, and we really want to understand any concerns customers might have with competitive products so that we can get out ahead of that. Where agentic AI really comes in on this, though, is that it can help really compile various things like consumer reviews. It can help us analyze local fitness studios or influencer markets. It can even help us draft targeted marketing campaigns automatically. We'll see a little bit of that as well. The other things it could do is it could help us proactively find popular community events where brand sponsorship might be a big factor, or even help us demonstrate the water bottle's capabilities. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop into our platform, and I'm going to show you a couple of capabilities that we might use in order to help us compile this sales and marketing plan automatically using both generative AI and agentic AI. So let me share my screen. We'll pop over to the demo at this point. So to orient ourselves to what we're seeing here, this is Aleda's AI platform that we use. All of our consultants, back office, all of our different functions have been trained to use various different functions and capabilities within here. And ultimately what you're looking at is our homepage on here. This is where a lot of our staff will immediately start to jump in by picking either a model that they want to chat with or a persona that they might want to chat with. A persona is just essentially a model with some instructions that have been wrapped around that we use for various different tasks, like helping us with prospecting, or even we have some internal use cases we've seen great results on around employee reviews and the review process that we go through. But in this case, I've got a couple of options available to me. I have some reasoning models, as we discussed previously. Those might be a good option to use for this to help me generate a marketing plan. And then I also have various different chat models that I can use. All of them have their pros and cons in these situations. But in this case, I'm going to go pick the Gemini 2.0 Flash model because I've found that it's really good at helping with some formatting, and then the reasoning steps are very clear and coherent for me to use. So I'll start a chat with this. And what you'll see here is just a standard chat interface. You've probably seen something similar or used to that. A couple of the capabilities that we have in here is we have the ability to search the web. We have enabled various different extensions to allow us to connect with things like our CRM and time and expense. We can chat with documents. We have a prompt library that we have. We could even go take screenshots of different material that we might be working on and copy and paste that in here. So say I was working on a marketing plan and a deck, I could take a screenshot of maybe a slide, just paste it in here and use that. I also even have this capability to help me with a prompt, just in case I maybe wasn't as savvy of a user and I needed some help with AI to enhance my prompt. We've seen great results with that. But in this instance, I actually already have a prompt dialed up. So I'm going to go select that from my prompt library. Let me walk you really quickly through what this is. I'm asking this reasoning model to act as a marketing consultant. We found that sometimes asking an AI to have a little bit of a persona can result in some great success and a better output for what we're trying to do. I've given it some context about what I'm trying to do. Mentioned the AI-powered water bottle in here. And I'm asking it ultimately to help me develop a comprehensive marketing plan for this. I'm also giving it some instruction and some light guidance on how best to structure the output. I'm looking for things like a campaign objective, target audience, marketing strategies, partnership ideas, and I'm asking it to be detailed and specific for each of these. Now, let's just say I had a marketing plan I was already working on. This would be a great time for me to add some additional material in here. But in this instance, for demo's sake, let's just ask the AI to come up with a skeleton of a marketing plan for me that I can then enrich using some of our agentic AI capabilities. So really quick, just running through this, you can see it started to output the reasoning tokens on here, so I can start to look at what is it thinking as it's starting to produce this marketing plan. Now, what's interesting about this is with the reasoning models, I can validate its thought process. If there was something in here I didn't like or didn't go the way I expected it to, I could always go through an iterative process with this AI model to prompt it to get me to a better direction. I'm okay with the reasoning at this point, though, so I'm just going to scroll down a little bit further and see what it started to pull together from an output standpoint. And as you can see, with a very basic prompt, I'm starting to get some really good things here. I'm starting to get some layout about marketing objectives, some target audiences, some demographic pieces in here. It's already thought about some sports teams and different psychographics and interests that might be of interesting for me, different marketing strategies, including influencer marketing campaigns. This is all really great. This is a great skeleton and a great outline for me to be able to use. But one of the things is that me being a human in the loop, I haven't provided it much detail or much context. So this might be an opportunity for me to go enrich this marketing plan with additional data. I could do that a couple of different ways. I could go out, I could search the web, I could compile a bunch of information, I can bring it back to the AI, I can iterate on that. Or this would be an example of where I could use an agent to be able to help me do that. I'm okay with this plan right now. So what I'm going to do at the bottom here is I'm going to go back to my prompt and I'm going to grab an agentic prompt on here. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to be asking the same AI that has just generated a marketing plan for me to help me prepare a prompt for my research agent. I've given it some capabilities that my research agent has about the ability to collect, summarize, and generalize web information. And this is going to be great and important because it's going to help me generate a prompt that I can now feed back into my agent to find that information for me.
So David, just so I'm super clear, you're using this AI platform to create a marketing plan for this. I guess it's not a fictitious product. It'll be interesting to see what research comes back, this AI powered water bottle. And then based on the plan, asking this model to create a prompt you can put in our research platform. Does that sound right?
That's absolutely right. And in fact, the prompt that it's created by just the time we were talking is already here. And it's actually really good. It's pretty detailed. I'm going to use this prompt to help me find some social media influencers. I'm going to look at some potential sports team partnerships. I'm going to start to do a little bit of competitor analysis on this. And this is a fantastic way to be able to help you upskill your prompting game. In fact, this is a trick and a technique that I use all the time, so much so that we built some of these capabilities right into our platform to make that easy for folks to use. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Manish. In just a few seconds, I've been able to generate a marketing plan, and I've been able to use AI to help me create some additional prompts for my research agent to go off on. So I'm going to quickly flip over to another tab here where I've queued up a research agent that's going to go in there for me and do some of this research to help me build out this marketing plan. I have the same ability if I didn't have a prompt previously to be able to help me generate one here. I'm just going to paste in what we had talked about previously. I could scan through this, and this would be a really important time for me to be able to do that, whether I wanted to target maybe my marketing plan towards a specific city and location, or if there were some elements in here that I didn't necessarily care about at this point, or maybe I wanted to tune it and add some additional pieces in there. In our agentic research framework, we have the ability to run different types of reports with different types of links. We can run a summary report. We can get detailed. We can even instruct the agent how best to try to accomplish what it needs to do. But in this case, I'm going to ask the AI to do it. We can adjust it for different tonalities. We can also even steer it a little bit better by asking it to specifically look at different research sources or report sources. I could add as many up here as I wanted to. Maybe I've already found a really good website that I want to make sure is included in my research. Maybe I have some additional material that I've already started working on that I could upload and ask the agent to use as well. But in this instance, I'm curious about what the AI is going to be able to do on its own. So I'm going to let it define its own research path, and I'm going to hit start. So what is happening behind the scenes here is actually kind of fascinating. This research request is going into a queue. So behind the scenes, if you're a technical person like I am, it's spinning up a bunch of servers behind the scenes to help provision the right resources for these agents to work on. But also what you'll see here very quickly is that it's going to start spinning up some AI and start doing some planning. As you can see here, this planning research line, that is key to what is happening from an agentic standpoint. I have very basically said what I want from an outcome standpoint to help supplement my marketing research. I have in no way instructed what resources this AI should look like, what plan it should create in order to be able to do that, how it should structure the report, how many different agents it should spin up, what those agents should focus on. I've done none of that. That is all dynamically done behind the scenes for us as it's crawling through the web and deciding how best to perform its research, how to pull that information together and to compile it into a report that's meaningful and useful for me. The reason that's extremely valuable is because at the end of the day, I'm not having to go do this work myself. I might have to put on different hats as I'm thinking about demographics versus different aspects of the marketing plan that I need to pull together. I might have to look in different places, or in this case, I can just let my AI do it. And as you can see, it's pretty fast and pretty efficient. So in just the time that we were talking, Manish, is back to kind of your question that you had here. I've been able to run this report and I'm now able to scan through it and see if it makes sense for me to start to pull some of this information into my marketing plan. So we can see in this instance, it's actually gone out and found several influencer profiles. It's even given me a link to contact them on Instagram or YouTube, which is pretty incredible that it's able to do that for me. So I don't have to go do that myself. As I scroll through, it started to also find me some sports team partnership opportunities, professional teams, collegiate teams, amateur teams, youth teams, some really interesting and great ideas here. And would you look at that? It's also even given me some competitor analysis as well on top of that, with some potential pricing strengths and weaknesses of where I can start to compare what I have against that. The neat thing about what this research is able to do in this agentic piece is that this is all, these are all real links. So I could go in here and I could click on one of these links and it's going to take me to the page where it started to pull these pieces together. And would you look at that? It actually is a real product category. There is a smart water bottle market, and which has a pretty impressive market share at 30 million by 2026. I did not expect that, honestly, when we picked this domain. So it's really interesting to be able to do something very quickly with very little work on my part to be able to then take this and compile it back into my marketing plan.
So David, just to bring it back, you put the prompt in, our platform, research platform, came up with its own research plan, and in real time, as it was kind of spinning through and showing us a bunch of different things, was going out, doing that research, and compiled this report that you're showing us here in, I don't know, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that?
Yeah, probably more closer to 2 minutes. Yes, absolutely, Manish. That's exactly what happened. One of the things that's been important to us is to make sure that we show all of the detailed steps that these agentic AIs are taking. So down here, I can go click on the logs and I can pop that open with my initial request. But what's really interesting is when you start scrolling through here, you can see its thought process. You can see what it's been able to do with just that prompt that I put in and tasked it to go do. It decided to take on the persona of a business analyst. And then if I keep scrolling down, we can see where it started to pull together the different plans on how it's going to execute on my research. So there are probably, with this simplistic example, maybe 2, 3, 4 agents that got spun up behind the scenes that are going off and researching this to be able to pull this together for me. So pretty powerful. So now let's ask the question, great, that's awesome for marketing. Where might this be useful for sales? I've already prepared a prompt, but I would probably go about this a very similar way, maybe starting off with chat and what I'm trying to do. But in this case, let's assume that I've already gotten to a point where I've decided that I need to use our research agent to help me with both sales lead generation and maybe tracking down a little bit more information on the social media influencers and potential sports teams for this. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and run the report again very quickly so that you can see what's happening behind the scenes on this one. But the neat part about what this platform is capable of is it's capable of doing research across a variety of different domains. We're showing sales, marketing, and I'll show you a customer research example here. But we found significant value in using this for, say, framework comparisons if we're in a technical domain for IT, bug analysis if there's something deep that we're trying to research and we need to do more than just what AI can do by accessing some of the direct web links. We found value in being able to pull together various different meaningful and interesting perspectives. And where this gets really valuable is when you're able to take these reports, spin up one of those reasoning models, like I mentioned earlier, and add two of them together. So I could go into a situation where I have an AI reasoning model that's looking at a sales plan, a marketing plan, maybe customer service all together. And I've suddenly developed a really neat AI superpower to reason across all of those elements at the same time.
So David, I know we got a bunch of folks on the technical side. Anything else you want to talk about that's happening behind the scenes? Maybe some of the technologies that you've got in place here for our AI platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So you saw a couple of the open source frameworks that are out there. We've decided to use some of those to be able to power this behind the scenes, mainly because of their capabilities and flexibility, where they've been progressing fairly rapidly. We're using semantic kernel, LangChain, and a variety of other prompting techniques behind the scenes to help enable some of these agentic workflows. But at the end of the day, we're starting off with reasoning models, not just on the chat side, but behind the scenes on the planning side to help generate a really solid plan. From there, there's a variety of different agentic development techniques that we're using to spin off those plans or portions of those plans to different agents to execute in their own loop. That may happen for as long as the agent decides. Now, there's a little bit of a governor on the ends of that to keep it on the rails and make sure that it's not just going to spin and think forever. But in the end of the day, it decides when it's done with the research, just like it's decided that it's done generating the sales report that I asked it to earlier. So back to the sales domain, what's really neat about this one is just by asking it to think and focus on something slightly different from a functional area, I've gotten completely different results. In this case, I've started to identify different competitor sales channels. I've started to identify different pricing models and packages, sales arguments and messaging. This is a fantastic use case for some of our research agents, customer segments, promotional offers, sales campaigns. I mean, this is a simple report. You can imagine what this would do on a detailed report and where this might be valuable to help me then take this back in and use some different AI prompts to help me with sales messaging, targeted email generation, you name it. It's probably valuable to have some of this information behind the scenes.
So David, we got a plan, marketing plan. We've got marketing research that led to a sales plan that you've got here. How are we going to show the customer support? We don't have a product yet.
So what's interesting about customer support is it can mean a lot of different things. Not just contact centers. It can also mean some of the things we might need to do proactively to ensure that we're prepared. So we're in product launch at this point, or maybe we're in the beginning stages of that. I just have compiled a very detailed report here on customer service that will help me look at various things like common customer complaints. So just kind of going down here, these might be features that I'm considering as part of my product as I'm putting them together. App connectivity issues, battery life problems, accuracy, durability. These are all questions that I might have as for somebody that's in the customer service domain. Either how has my product team already thought about this, or what are some strategies that we're going to use if we suspect that there might be some questions about these specific domains. So it can be used in a proactive sense as well. But in the customer service, we're also seeing the agentic capabilities like this being able to pull information together internally about your customer to help you respond a little bit better, faster to any type of questions somebody may have.
Okay, so just so I get my head around this, we had our research platform, AI platform, look at competing or similar products to our AI-powered water bottle, find out what people are complaining about, bring all that information back in. So now we at least have a starting point, one, maybe to differentiate the product based on how we talk about it, but certainly two, to be able to be ready for common complaints based on the same or similar products.
Absolutely. And it's gone deep, as you can see here. It looked at Amazon reviews, it went into Reddit, it went in even into some community forums. So this is all very powerful of how this particular AI agent had decided to best respond to my request. There are situations where I might repeat this and steer it a little bit differently, but yes, in a sense, it's done a lot of the legwork for me. So with that, we wanted to kind of go back to our deck and just remind everybody what they've seen. You've seen us go into AI, use chat-based prompts to talk to reasoning models to be able to help us generate these plans. We then have used those same models to help us start our agentic experiences by curating prompts, feeding those back in. And this can continue in a loop for a while until I'm comfortable that I've used sufficiently or AI sufficiently to help me accomplish what I'm looking for, whether it's in a sales, marketing, or customer service domain. But these same tools can be used across a variety of different domains, a lot of which Stephen already mentioned previously. So with that, we wanted to really leave you with a couple of key takeaways, and I'll let Stephen come back in and share his thoughts on that.
Thank you, David. And I'm really excited to observe that from end to end and realize that in just about 20 minutes, you got all that powerful output. So thanks for walking us through it. So what are we hoping that you take away from today? I'm sure that we all come to this discussion today with different objectives or different sort of contexts, but fundamentally, there are some themes that I think are important to underline. The first one is that, hopefully you've now seen and heard multiple times from us that agentic AI takes us from the world of more discrete, repeatable type more formulaic type execution of AI to something that can handle more complex, non-deterministic needs. So the art of the possible as it relates to automation now goes beyond what a lot of people talk about when they talk about AI automation, when people say things like, well, where is there a manually intensive process that I can automate and put some AI into it? To now going into some complex knowledge worker type domains and apply AI. So hopefully you've seen that. The second thing is that, as David just illustrated, the collaboration between humans and agentic AI gives us a very, very powerful ability to accelerate in an iterative fashion our path towards execution of complex tasks. So, like I said, in 20 minutes, David got an incredible amount of information. And that was just the simple summary report. The detailed one is even more robust. So this collaboration and back and forth and treating this like imagine like that worker that I mentioned to you, and the back and forth you might have every week when you meet with them and their update on what they've done on the sales and marketing plan. That now just got compressed to a series of back and forth interactions with an agent. And in the space of 20, 30, 60 minutes, it's mind-boggling to see where you can go. So you don't have to rely on a one-time execution and assume that everything you get out of AI is going to be your final answer. That iteration and collaboration is critical. The third thing is that, hopefully you've heard us mention a couple of times that there's much more to extracting the value out of AI than obviously just the technical platform or the solution that you write. So it's really important to make sure that if you're going to deploy a solution, that you've done the work around establishing literacy, around AI in fundamental concepts, but also the training that drives literacy on how to use a tool set. Imagine for a moment that David rolled out that capability you just saw to a salesperson or a marketing person and said, here you go. Here's a agentic AI tool you can use. Good luck. And I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but you can see probably would take some time to get to use it, or maybe even look at the blank screen and wonder, how's this going to work? So you need to spend the time to build up that literacy to make sure that collaborative value that I talk about is extracted from the collaborative approach between human and AI, and ultimately integrate the AI into operational tasks and workflows. Bottom line, of course, is that as you've hopefully seen and heard from us, both through the demos and through some of the things I said earlier, the opportunities for compelling value from agentic AI are far and wide. They span the enterprise, their front office, their back office, all points in between. So regardless of what function you reside in, regardless of what strategic initiatives are on your priority list, there is probably a way that you can figure out how to embed an agentic AI approach to drive acceleration of benefits for what you're responsible for. As I said, if you can imagine a new hire coming in and helping you with those tasks and those priorities, you can probably imagine a way to use agentic AI. So with these reduction of cycle times, reduction of costs, improved experiences, strategic advantages and such that you can extract from using agentic AI, it's important to think now that in 2025, with the capabilities like you just witnessed, it's probably time to start thinking about how could I use this? How can I explore this? Because if you don't, more than likely someone in your competitive set will, and will jump ahead of you from an efficiency standpoint. Thank you. Next page, please.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. I appreciate it. Everybody, thank you for the time today. Wanted to cover off, we have one question, and I think this one's probably going to go towards David Romeo. And the question, David, was the platform that we demonstrated today, what did that require to set up? What kind of ongoing investments are required, and how do we govern it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It's kind of interesting. This platform has been an evolution for us as we've gone through. When we started the platform, the AI behind the scenes that's powering the model selection and a lot of the agentic pieces wasn't contributing in a meaningful way to the building of the platform. And now today it is. So what does that mean? We have agentic AI helping with the development for the next set of features that we're using internally for our own AI pieces. To get to that point took a lot of time and iteration, and a lot of the points that Stephen had mentioned earlier about literacy. We've spent a lot of time and effort training all of our folks on how best to use AI and their different job functions. So to get straight to your answer, it's been several years to be able to get to the point that where we're at right now, but it's rapidly adding capabilities on top of that. I mean, the good thing is we offer the platform as an accelerator option. So if folks are interested, it's worth having a conversation about. But to host it, it's significantly cheaper for us to host our own AI platform with different API access to different models than it is to be able to go strike up enterprise agreements with each one of the individual organizations or different model providers. It also gives us the flexibility to play with different models as well as they come out to understand where their capabilities are, and then to incorporate the right models for the right steps in an agentic workflow, which is absolutely also key because some models are really good at certain parts. Other models, might not be as capable for certain things. So it's cheaper for us to run that as well. To govern it, we're actually using a combination of just kind of standard governance around the types of inputs that people have on there, making sure that we have single sign-on, everything's encrypted at rest, all of the documents and things that people upload are encrypted. And then finally, we also use AI to help monitor some of the things that people are putting in there. So in a sense, the platform is helping to monitor itself and alert us to when there might be proper or improper usage of it.
Thanks, David. Manish, that's the only question I had, so we'll continue into the deck. I wanted to close things out today. Hopefully you guys found the discussion and demonstration compelling. Agentic AI is certainly revolutionizing the way that businesses operate across the board. Stephen mentioned many use cases, many different departments and things like that. And as we look to advance into the future with AI, become more AI enabled to enhance decision making like we showed you today, or more AI assisted to drive real efficiencies. Stephen mentioned in 20 minutes time, David had an incredible amount of outputs for the part of the business that I'm very passionate about, sales, marketing, and customer success. All the way to what's coming in the very near future, which is full automation through AI delivered solutions, using these reasoning models as they get better and better at what they do. When it comes to what we do at Aledo, we want to engage with our customers, and we do every day to help navigate the AI journey pragmatically, with the goal of taking the right ideas and helping to create tangible value and outcomes based on those ideas. So take the ones that prove out real business value and then accelerate the deployment of those things into the field to get real benefits really quickly. So whether we engage you from a strategy and experience point of view, or technology and cloud point of view, or data and insights point of view, or any and all of the above, we want to be the partner that helps you get this ball rolling down the hill and help accelerate it, so that, as Stephen mentioned, you can stay ahead in the marketplace. So I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't have a call to action. So here it is. Take action now. Engage with us. We are more than happy to get on additional calls with you all, speak specifically to you about your unique needs and use cases, the things you're looking at doing today, the things you're doing today that maybe you'd like to accelerate or get an additional point of view on. Reach out to us. Let's build something great together. Let's start working together. That's what we're here for. And hopefully today you got a feel for our strengths and capabilities and passion around this amazingly innovative topic. So thanks. David, would you advance slides? I think all we have left is, oh yeah, so thank you. So with that, guys, we're right on time here. We wanted to be respectful of time. I feel like that's a huge win for us. That's what we were going for. We got to get this thing done in an hour, and we've done that. So success in that regard. We hope you guys have an incredible rest of the week. Please feel free to reach out to us. As I mentioned, Mackenzie and the marketing team will be following up with more information on this, copies of the recording, transcripts, those sorts of things. So keep your eyes open for that. Feel free to share it within your organization as you get that. And we're here to help as soon as you need us. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for joining.
Have a great day.
Great work, guys. Thanks.